going on? Do a little truck talk today, mainly about should you or should you not use an LLC for your business. There are a few different options there. You can do like an LLC, a DBA, which is a sole proprietorship. You guys will have to look into those different categories and see which one works well for you. What I chose to do for my business was an LLC, a limited liability company, corporation. I registered my company to be its own separate entity, to have its own tax ID, and I'm going to talk about some of the benefits that come with an LLC. And I am in no way an accountant, an expert on any of these different categories, you know, the proprietorship, LLC, DBA, but I do know that I'm using an LLC. I know how it's benefited me. I know how I use it in, you know, tax write-offs, tax deductions, paying myself in my business. So I'm just going to share that. If you guys have anything to add, please leave in the comments. Be more than happy to hear how an LLC or a different category in which you have claimed your business as has helped you or has not helped you. So the first thing in getting into business, it's great to separate yourself from that business. It's great to separate yourself from some of the liability. That's where the limited liability comes into with the LLC. I have different bank accounts for my LLC. So as long as you separate the money, it keeps you from doing what's called piercing the corporate veil. So for an example, if I have an LLC and my own business bank account, and there's $20,000 in that bank account, if I take out $1,000 for business expenses, and then I also take $1,000 for non-business expenses, down the road, if I ever got audited or had any kind of issue, the company was going under and I wanted to file for bankruptcy, if any of those accounts were ever looked at, they would say that I pierced the corporate veil. I basically conjoined money for personal and business use, and I did not follow the guidelines for separating the business end of my money from my personal end of my money, and that can lead to some troubles when trying to hold on to that limited liability classification that comes from that. So what's really nice about being able to separate your money is you're going to be holding on to that limited liability. You're not going to be held accountable for certain things, especially when it comes to bankruptcy. I think that's some of the biggest things there, and some of the assets that you might hold for a business. Now, again, you're going to want to look into that kind of stuff on your own. Talk to your accountant, talk to a buddy who knows a little bit more than me. I know just enough to run my business. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly talking to people, and then, you know, every week I want to know a little bit more about how to better run my business and the finances. Right now, I have separated out all of my funds. So the business has its money and then I have mine. So how do I get my money? Well, I pay myself through my LLC. All my checks, all my credit cards, all the cash, if I choose to put it in the bank, goes into the business side. And then when I choose to pay myself, and we can talk about how you pay yourself in maybe a different video, but when I choose to pay myself, I take money out of the business account and I write myself a paycheck just as you were getting paid from a different, or if you worked for a company, a separate company. Now, there are really nice benefits to doing that out of an LLC. So let's say there's $100,000 in that business account at the end of the year, and over the course of the year, or let's say you put over the course of a year, you put $100,000 into that account. And let's say you paid yourself $40,000 a year. At the end of the year, when you're doing your taxes, that $40,000 that you paid yourself out of the business account is now deductible. That's $40,000 worth of income that your company, your business is not paying tax on. That income passes through to your pocket as an individual, and that $40,000 that you made running your business, you are now going to pay income tax on that, ordinary income tax at whatever your tax bracket is, just as if you were working for another company. So you can run your business, make all that money, and also pay yourself and only pay tax on that $40,000 or whatever you choose to pay yourself on your personal side, your personal income tax side. So that's a really nice key point of having everything separated, having that LLC when it comes to paying yourself. An LLC gives you other options for writing stuff off. Anything that you use as an expense or an item in your business that helps you make money, you can write that off at the end of the year against your earned income, and you will not pay tax on that. So last year when I had first started, everything was coming out of my personal account. Halfway through the season, I had started a business account, but there was a lot of commingling of funds right in the beginning. When it came to tax time, to provide receipts to where my expenses went, it was very difficult. I had to go through different accounts and figure out where the money came from. This year, with my business account, I have a debit card, and every expense from that debit card, oh, we gotta make a turn here. Every expense that from my business gets swiped on that debit card at the end of the year. You can clearly see. All I got to do is just print off my statements, highlight some stuff, and I can give that to my accountant, and he knows exactly where my dollar went, what I can write off. Every time that you buy gas, every time that you put fuel in your truck, every time that you buy SH, a new wand, marketing, if you're putting out Facebook ads, you're using a lead service, you're sending out mailers, every piece of that is a write-off for your business. You needed it to make money. So if you, again, $100,000, if you make $100,000 over the course of your season and you have $20,000, $30,000 worth of expenses over that 6-7 months, fuel, expenses for chlorine, marketing, all that stuff is going to add up over time. At the end of the year, let's say it's $20,000, that's $20,000 that's no longer taxable. You are now only taxable on $80,000. You needed that money to buy tools, expenses to run your business, and that is what a deduction is. So it's not free. It's not free money. That's still money out of your business account that went to buy stuff. It's just now the government is not going to say, well, on that $100,000, we're going to tax everything. We're only going to tax what is left after you have bought what you needed to run that business to make that income. So now you have expenses and you have income that is now dwindling down that business account. You're getting paid, you're buying stuff, your equipment's getting upgraded, and you're lowering that tax, that taxable income. Once your expenses for your insurance and everything else is done, you're going to be left with a net profit. That is the dollar amount that you are going to get taxed on. So at $100,000, if you paid yourself $40,000 and you had $20,000 expenses, your company is now only getting taxed on $40,000 instead of $100,000. And that is the power of an LLC. That's the power of having an accountant. That's the power of keeping track of your write-offs, separating yourself from the business. You're going to try as much as possible to not give tax money back. Give money back in taxes, okay? Another nice benefit to having an LLC for your business is that the truck that you have seen in all my videos, the white 2016 F-250, that was bought as a personal vehicle. I bought that vehicle before I even considered getting into business for anything. Luckily, at the time I had the money. I wanted the diesel, I wanted the heavy duty, I wanted to upgrade from my F-150. And I got lucky and bought a heavy duty truck, which was great for plowing. Turns out it was great for plowing, and it's been great for hauling around the weight of the skid and the SH and the water, all my equipment in the back of the truck. I got kind of lucky there. Having the LLC, I was able to transfer the title as well as the debt payment into the company. So now, anytime I need brakes changed, I need fuel, I need wipers changed, every time that my truck payment comes out of the account, it's coming out of the business account. So now, the cost to running this truck, the other day it cost me $650 to get my brakes replaced. I even paid extra to have a heavy duty rotor and brake pads put in, something for a heavier duty vehicle. It's not that easy stopping all this weight all the time, and of course in the winter I get the plow and salt in the back, so I figured that it would benefit me to spend a little bit more money and get some more heavy duty brakes. All of that came out of the business account. So at the end of the year, all that taxable income, I'm going to dwindle down. I'm going to say, well, I put new brakes on the truck. This is all my fuel expenses. Oops, sorry. This is all my fuel expenses. The insurance for the truck, I have commercial insurance for both plowing. The commercial insurance also helps protect my equipment. So if I didn't have commercial auto insurance, if I got into an accident, the equipment in the back, my car under the personal non-commercial side of insurance would all be protected, and your damage and liability would all be covered. But if the skid came out of the truck or got dented, whatever that may be, that would not be covered without commercial insurance. And that's probably the same for the plow. If I was in an accident in the winter and the plow was damaged without having commercial insurance, it would not be covered. So the expenses for all of that now comes out of the business. So you're just looking for ways to dwindle down your taxable income. You want to be paying for all your stuff. You want to pay all your stuff tax-free. You need to pay for your insurance. You need to pay for your equipment. You need to pay for marketing. You need to pay your income. You need to pay X, Y, and Z. Do it pre-tax. Pay all that stuff out of the business account, and then at the end of the year, just pay tax on what's left over. The IRS has put in these loopholes, if you want to call them that, these tax codes for LLCs, for DBAs, to incentivize individuals to start their own businesses. That is why they are here. If you look at the tax code, if you look at the formation of why these different entities are there, it's to help us. It's not illegal. It's not a gray area. These tax categories are here for you to use. If you look at big corporations, every decision that they make, every chair that they buy, every donation that they make, every dollar that they spend or make is based off of tax ramifications. That's why you always hear of people upset that these big corporations aren't paying taxes. It's not illegal. They are able to do it. And every decision they make is based off of that tax. So I know that we are not big corporations, but we are just as liable, or we are just as able to take advantage of those loopholes as they are and keep as much money in our pocket as possible. So that is really probably just the surface of some of the benefits of having an LLC. Again, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a tax guy. This is just what I have learned myself so far, and really they are some of the big key points that can benefit you for having an LLC. There's a lot more to learn. There's a lot more that you guys should be looking into yourself. But as far as paying yourself an income, writing off the necessities that we need to run this business, and really just keeping as much money tax-free in our pocket, that's the goal. We want to be running our businesses lean and mean. We want to be keeping money in our pocket. We don't want to be giving away too much. We don't want to be commingling our funds. We want to do it properly. So find out what works best for you, whether it's an LLC, a DBA, a sole proprietorship, whatever you want it to be. Each one of those categories is going to have a benefit for you. Figure out which one works the best for you. I hope that was pretty helpful. If nothing else, it got the wheels turning, gave you guys something to look into. If any of you can correct me or maybe tell me something that I didn't touch on, please do. And as I learn more about how to better protect myself tax-wise, as well as keep as much money as my pocket, I'm going to share that with you guys. Thank you. Have a good one.